This episode of Side Projects welcomes back Chef Celina Tio. After her first appearance on the show, we got to talking. Her restaurant, The Belfry in Kansas City, has over 200 different bourbons. So I tossed her the idea of pairing music to bourbon. If I was going to sit back and listen to, Vast Robot Armies, let's say, what bourbon would I want to sip with that style of music? So we put together a playlist on Spotify, and Chef Tio picked songs to pair. This is the first in what should be a series of music and alcohol pairings. So sit back, open your ears and your palates, and enjoy Chef Celina Tio's music and bourbon pairings. I want to thank you again for coming on. This is a really cool idea of pairing music with bourbons. And I want to get a little background information on this for myself and the listeners. What differentiates bourbon from whiskey? Like an Irish whiskey. Is there anything specifically besides where it's distilled?
So bourbon, by law, the most important thing has to be made in this country. It has to be, so what they call the mash bill, has to be at least 51% corn and aged in charred new American oak barrels. So that's why you see such a high usage of bourbon barrels in aging scotches and sherries and beer and all
wines,
sorts of things and wines, because they can only use them one time. So they're like such a hot commodity for that.
Wow.
Obviously, they're a hot commodity even more so now because of just the boom of bourbon. Specifically, people want to tout that they aged their beer in an Eagle Rare barrel specifically or whatever.
Okay.
So that's the thing. And corn, it being made from at least 51% corn is important because that's like the only Native American ingredient that of all that.
Okay.
So you could make the exact same mash bill, maybe import corn or whatever into another country, but it has to be made and distilled in this country. Much like grappa from Italy.
Yes.
I couldn't do the exact same thing here and call it grappa.
Oh, okay. I tried grappa once and
well, you might have to do another show on that because I love grappa. It's delicious.
I may have gotten a bet. It was my brother's father-in-law gave it to me, and he kind of gave it to me as a joke. He's like, "Here, try this." I'm like, "Wow!" And I think he likes to pick the cheap stuff. So.
Yeah, no, there's lots of amazing stuff out there.
Well, all right, so we'll do one with grappa. So what's the best way to enjoy a bourbon? Because I've always heard, add a drop of water or put it over ice. What's the best way to get the flavors out of bourbon?
So, you can do that. To me, I always say it's not about me, it's about you. You're drinking it, so however you enjoy it. If you like it over a big cube, go for it. If you like it over a lot of cubes, that's cool too. If you just like it, no matter what the proof is, going up to 136.8 proof, you like it neat, all the power to you. I usually drink it with 1 cube. Oh, here, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I usually drink it with 1 cube. So I like that little, and when I say, I actually ask servers in restaurants, like, how big are your ice cubes? And I'm like, are they this big? Are they that big? Whatever.
Wow.
And I'm like, all right, I'll have 3 of those. Or after having seen them in my water, I know exactly what to ask for. So I just like a little bit of dilution, and I like the chill also. Okay. So it's kind of like, that's why I don't use whiskey stones. So some people like the chill, but don't like the dilution. So you can use whiskey stones. But I like both personally. So.
I'm always afraid of them sliding down and chipping my tooth. That's my fear of whiskey stones chipping my teeth.
Right? Yeah, that would be no good.
So, all right. So for the show, what are you drinking to kick off this show? I'm
trying to think if I have this on. I did pair what I'm drinking with bad things. Actually.
Oh yes. Okay. So we can. So before we get into that, I went cheap. Because budget's tight right now. So I've got the Jim Beam Black Extra Aged in a very small container because my budget's very tight today. So.
And I kind of went the same direction. It's like I love this because I can go to any dive bar and be happy. So I have Turkey 101.
All right. Oh my gosh. I'm going crazy. I just spilled bourbon on me. Now I got to lick my hands.
Totally.
Oh my gosh. All right. So since we started off with the Wild Turkey, you said you'd match that with one of the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club songs.
I did. So when I was thinking about pairings and thinking about this project altogether, different things come to me when it comes to pairing. Sometimes it's an obvious thing, like based on the name. Sometimes it's how it makes me feel. Sometimes it has to do with history. And so it's all over the board on how I decided to pair it. So this one, just because it was Bad Things and just the song in general, I paired it with Wild Turkey 101 because, at 101, you can do very bad things. And, we just drank the 80 proof OG in high school. Yeah. So this is just the little bit more burly version of that, which, I don't take shots anymore, but certainly people do. And if they're taking shots of 101, that is the direction things are going.
Things are going bad. So Bad Things by Black Rebel Motorcycle Club was on the True Blood soundtrack, and it's a very vampire-y sounding rock song. So I'm the kind to sit up in his room, heart sick and eyes filled up with blue. So, one of the other things we did was we asked for requests from people, and one of the first requests that came back was my buddy Jordan Zadarozny of Blinker the Star. He really wanted to know what bourbon you would pair with ZZ Top's Diablo, so it's just a straightforward bluesy track.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, it's like my new favorite song. It is. I love it. I think I made John play the playlist because I was sitting in front of the Belfry in front of the bar staring at bourbon, and I made him play this whole playlist like 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
And I played the ZZ Top multiple times after that.
Because before we get too far into it, you do have quite a vast expanse of bourbons at the Belfry.
I do. I think we just redid the list, and there's about 300 individual different selections of whiskey alone, just whiskey.
Wow.
About 200 of them are bourbons specifically, not ryes, not Irish whiskeys or anything else. And then I don't even carry, for whatever reason, I just don't carry the same things that you can get literally everywhere else in the city. So I don't carry Bullet. I don't carry Maker's Mark. I don't carry Bullet for a different reason, but I don't carry Maker's Mark. I don't carry any of the Jim Beam products. So there's probably 40 right off the bat you could just list, and right. I don't carry them. Okay. And that's only because, I just want to carry things that you can't get everywhere else.
So you want to be a destination for bourbon and whiskey connoisseurs, or somebody who's interested in experimenting and trying something brand new too.
Totally. That's the point is, we serve 1 ounce pours. So you can, somebody my size could have 5 of those and still walk home, or get home, safely. Yeah. Because that's only like 2.5 drinks. That's so
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you choose to pair with ZZ Top's Diablo?
Okay. So I chose the Henry McKenna single barrel. It's 10-year aged. I picked that because my daughter's a bassist. I've always loved heavy bass songs. I just love it. And that bluesy is just so, so great. And so I was just thinking about it. And so with the Henry McKenna, it really has, that 10-year has like a lot of backbone, which that song obviously has.
Yes.
But it's super smooth.
Okay.
And I chose that specifically because Henry McKenna has, I think 12% of the mash bill is malted barley, which really, really rounds out the flavor. It gives it kind of a creaminess that just a lot of whiskeys don't have if it doesn't have malted barley in the mash bill. Some people have it, and they have it in lower percentages, like 4%, which is great because it does add balance. But this one's a little bit higher at 12%. There's some that, wild turkey, another reason why I like wild turkey. Wild turkey's mash bill is 12 to 14% of the mash bill is malted barley too. So.
Oh, cool.
Henry McKenna single barrel 10-year.
All right.
ZZ Top.
Excellent. All right. So moving on to something a little bit different. Friends of Dean Martinez. The song was On the Shore, and that's kind of a shoegazy ambient sound to it. Maybe not really jazzy, but a little quieter than ZZ Top. So what did you pick for something a little bit more on the softer side?
So that song was like, post-rock to me.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, for whatever reason, a lot of it makes me reminiscent of high school and college. And I'm not really sure why. And it's not like because post-rock didn't really exist in high school. Right? To that extent. So it isn't like reminiscent from that point. It's just something when I listen to it emotionally makes me feel like high school or college.
I can understand what you're saying.
Whatever exactly that is, I don't really know. And that might be a whole other episode that's really long. But so because in high school we just talked about me drinking wild turkey, this song to me obviously has finesse and it has, I don't know how to put it, but it's just kind of like the more refined version, if you will. So I picked a reboot of a wild turkey that Wild Turkey did, and it's called Bond and Lillard. So this is an old-timey recipe of an old distillery that they did a reboot of about 5 years ago, and I just think it's just finessed. It's beautiful. I love it. It comes in only 375 milliliter bottle.
Oh, okay.
Label's beautiful. So just that's instantly what came to mind.
So when you say they did a reboot on a bourbon, what exactly are you talking about?
So, sometimes these the companies will bring back an old time recipe.
Okay.
So like a pre-prohibition recipe. So say for instance, Old Forester, they've got 1910, which is very fine, or Old Fine Whiskey is one, and that's whiskey with no E. That recipe. Then they've got 1920 Prohibition style, or then they have all these different years. So they bring back these old recipes that their distillery maybe once used, or they're maybe found archives, and maybe they're purchased from another, I don't know, bigger company, and then they wanted to find the original recipe of the person that founded that company. So people are always doing reboots of old-timey recipes. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense to me. All right, so see, let's go with let's stay a little bit on the jazzy side. Joe Zwaniel, Brown Street. That's got a jazzy world music kind of feel to it. Yeah, so I just, at the beginning of the year, went to Tom Morello's Guitar Revolution guitar camp. Yes. And one of the people I met, it was amazing. One of the people I met was Billy Holting. He was the camp director. He's also a Grammy Award winner because he played Zappa with Zappa. That's awesome. And won that year. And now I call a friend also. So he gave me a request and he requested that. And this one I thought was pretty easy because this was like a total feeling. So this is jazzy, islandy, kind of calypso-y. Yeah. So I instantly thought Angel's Envy rye that's aged in rum casks. Ooh, wow. So it just kind of gives you that whole island vibe with the rum casks and the flavor with that rye. Oh man, that sounds fantastic.
I'm going to provide a list of all these for everybody too, and I'll hopefully try to get a link for the Spotify playlist, because there are a lot more. And one of the weird things that I've realized, because I'm still kind of new to Spotify, is that when I started adding songs to the playlist, I looked underneath and it said, hey, you added these songs. Spotify also added these songs. so I was like,
wait, so
okay.
Then I have to ask, did you choose Whitesnake or did Spotify choose Whitesnake?
To be honest, Spotify picked Whitesnake. So
I paired it.
Let's go with Whitesnake. Whitesnake slide it in, the epitome of 80s like cock rock. I mean, there's just nothing to that, but just...
Yeah, you pretty much just nailed the pairing right there, cock rock. So it seems so totally obvious. So no matter what the Jack Daniels, as soon as I smell it, if it's to my nose, it's instant banana. So for obvious reasons, I chose that one.
Oh, that's awesome. And you know what? I bet a lot of that was downed during the Slide It In tour of I think that was 1980 or 81 when that album came out. So that was...
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Oh man, it's like that famous...
for several reasons.
Oh yeah, it's like that famous picture of Jimmy Page backstage at Madison Square Garden downing the entire bottle of Jack. All right, let's see. So we've got a couple more here, 2 more actually, and let's go. We have another Black Rebel Motorcycle Club song. This was my wife's pick. This is her favorite song by her favorite band, Echo by Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. It's got a Lou Reed style bass. It's kind of a slower. It starts off slower and it builds into the chorus, and it's a great track. It's one of my favorite tracks, but this is my wife's pick, so I'm really interested to see what you're going to pair with this.
So this, I'd never heard this song before, so I'm new to Black Rebel Motorcycle Clubs, but I'm very, very happy that I now know them.
Awesome.
Because I dig them a lot. But this totally reminds me of, and I don't know if you know the band Galaxy 500.
Oh, yeah.
So this totally reminds me of Galaxy 500. Same thing when you're talking about the bass. And so that I listened to in college all the time. And
yes.
So again, these are all kind of reminiscent things. So the one thing that always takes me back to college is clove cigarettes.
Oh, God. Yes.
So
yes.
The bourbon I picked here is Savage & Cook's Burning Chair.
Ooh.
First couple times I've tried it. And, you try things. When you taste things, you taste different things at different times because maybe of what you ate or who you're with, because you're in a good mood, you're in a bad mood, whatever.
Okay.
So this one, pretty frequently I get a lot of clove character. So like after I'm done drinking it, 5 minutes later I can lick my lips and it tastes like cloves to me.
Oh, so. Wow. That's awesome. And, it's amazing because I've had Peter Hayes and Leah Shapiro from Black Rebel Motorcycle Club on the show, and which was a huge thrill for me because I'm a huge fan. And they are big Galaxy 500 fans. So
there you go.
Galaxy.
I hope they, yeah.
I'm going to send this pairing to them. Oh, yeah, I'm going to send this pairing to them. I'm going to say, hey, you guys need to check it. If you haven't, check this out because this is your bourbon now. This is your drink. You guys got to go with this. And then let's wrap it up with the last pick, who's somebody you were at the camp with also, BB McGill. And BB is the guitarist for Beyonce. Is that right on that?
And
okay.
Music director.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a huge huge amount of pressure to pick the right bourbon for her choice, is, I'm making this sound as awkward as possible, Red Hot Chili Peppers Power of Equality. So anybody who isn't familiar with Red Hot Chili Peppers probably isn't listening to this show at all anyway, but they're definitely funk rock, and this song came out on their Blood Sugar Sex Magic album. What is your choice to go with Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Basically, I mean, this is, again, one of those obvious ones, maybe because of the lyrics.
Okay.
In the history of Jack Daniels, and you can't do a show like this and not bring up Jack Daniels multiple times, obviously.
Right.
It was found, so a woman named Fawn Weaver actually discovered that a man named Nearest Green actually was the person, an African-American, that taught Jack Daniels how to distill.
Wow.
And when she went to kind of investigate more about it, and she went through the tour at Jack Daniels, nowhere was there any mention of this.
Oh, wow.
Anywhere. So she kind of investigated. She moved there and really dug in deep to try to figure out why that was, and the entire history of it. Mm-hmm. And so she now started her own bourbon company, it's called Uncle Nearest 1856. And so right now she's buying distillate, but I don't know if she's the first African-American woman to own and operate a distilling company or a bourbon company specifically.
Yeah.
But to bring attention to the people that actually taught those that have the recognition in this industry, I think was a huge thing. So I had to give a nod to her and bringing that around and to the forefront. Absolutely. And it's the perfect, it's Black History Month right now. Yes, it is. As we're recording, possibly when this gets released, I'll see if it may still be Black History Month. I don't know, maybe March, but we'll see. Let's see how the editing schedule goes. But so that is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what 7 tracks we've got paired with bourbon. Now we do have more coming. We're planning on doing a few installations of this. So we've got tracks like Iron Maiden, Aces High coming up. Can't wait. If you like Megadeth's in there. Megadeth's in there. We've got Primus, Swans, Failure. And John recommended Dwight Yoakam. Dwight, oh wow! I didn't think of putting any country in there. All right, so we've got, and we'll see. I'll see what's left in the playlist that we haven't touched, and maybe I'll add a few things, or maybe Spotify's added a few more things. I don't know. We'll have to see. but we'll, so funny. Yeah, we'll definitely be working on this. Had a blast. This is so good, and this has given me a lot of different alcohol to try, which is always a good thing in my book. So you won't find that Bond and Lillard, unfortunately. I don't think. Oh no. Maybe it's hard to come by. Well, on my budget, I won't be able to get it, even if it is hard. Even if you can find it, if it's hard to come by, it's going to be out of my price range, I'm sure. But who knows? Maybe one of these guys could sponsor me, and I get a couple of different bourbons to sample. We'll make sure that we tag Wild Turkey multiple times, since they were brought up multiple times, and maybe there's something they could do about that. Exactly. Well, Chef, where can people follow you online, and where? Tell us a little bit more about your restaurant. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Celina Tio, CELINATIO, and also the Belfry Lounge. Both of those on Twitter and Instagram. Belfry, basically a bourbon bar restaurant in the crossroads of Kansas City, which is in the downtown-ish area. And it's been open for 6 years now and still going. That's awesome. Go Chiefs. Congratulations on the Super Bowl win. Thank you. That was amazing.
It was a great game. It was one of the best Super Bowls I have seen in a long time. So we'll have to tag them on this too now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, we do, because Travis Kelce was filmed luging down the Lombardi Trophy, but he was luging Bud Light.
Oh.
And I said, do that shit proper and luge Pappy 23. I said, I've got 3 of them.
Oh, there you go.
3 shots of Pappy 23 for him if he wants to come to the Belfry and do it right.
All right, Travis, you've heard it. The gauntlet's been thrown. You got to answer. So we'll tag him. We'll tag the Chiefs. We'll get everybody involved in this, and hopefully we'll get him taking some Pappy.
Awesome.
So, Chef, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to doing the next installment of this episode, and let's do some happy drinking.
Awesome. Can't wait. Cheers.